Imagine being able to sell anything to anyone regardless of the price. Sounds impossible. What if I told you that Harvard negotiators do exactly that every day? Yes, the world's most prestigious university has exclusive techniques that turn any ordinary person into a sales master. And the most surprising part? These techniques go against everything you've ever heard about sales until now. Think you need to be extroverted? Wrong. Believe that price is the main obstacle? Wrong again. Today, you're going to discover secrets that even the top market gurus won't reveal. And if you apply just half of what I'm going to show you here, you'll be light years ahead of the competition, able to sell even to those customers everyone else considers impossible. Ready to transform your approach and your financial life? Then stay with me until the end, because what you're about to learn here could change everything. Strategy 1. The psychology behind the sale. The sale doesn't start with the product, but with the buyer's mind. Understanding this is crucial for any seller who desires success. And if you've ever thought that success in sales is about having the best product or the lowest price, you need to reevaluate your beliefs now. Harvard teaches that the real secret lies in the psychology of the buyer. Scientific studies prove that purchase decisions are based on emotions, not logic. Even if a customer justifies the purchase rationally, the initial trigger is always emotional. So, how do you tap into this emotion? First, it's essential to identify your customer's deepest pain or desire. We're not talking about something superficial, like wanting to save money. Think deeper. A real-life example? Consider a customer looking for a luxury car. On the surface, they might say they want the car for its performance or comfort. But the real reason? It could be the need for status, the desire to be admired by peers, or even the pursuit of a personal sense of success. And how do you discover this? Ask and listen. Harvard negotiators are masters at asking the right questions, those that touch on the client's hidden emotions. They don't try to sell immediately. They listen, observe, and understand. Only when they have this deep understanding do they begin to shape their proposal. Strategy 2. The mirroring technique. One of the most powerful techniques taught at Harvard is mirroring. It might seem simple, but it's incredibly effective. The basic concept is, people like those who resemble them. And this applies not just to physical appearance, but also to body language, tone of voice, and even vocabulary. For example, if a client speaks slowly and thoughtfully, the negotiator also adapts their speech to be slow and deliberate. If the client uses technical language, the seller incorporates those terms into the dialogue. This creates an instant connection, a feeling that the seller is one of theirs. It's almost as if the client sees a reflection of themselves in the other person. And what's the impact of this? When people feel understood and believe they're dealing with someone similar to them, resistance to the sale drops dramatically. They begin to trust more, open up more, and the result is that you move closer and closer to closing the sale. Strategy 3. The art of price anchoring. If you've ever wondered how Harvard negotiators manage to sell products with absurdly high prices, the answer lies in price anchoring. Anchoring is a psychological technique that sets a reference point in the buyer's mind. Harvard teaches that by first presenting a high price, you set the customer's expectation about the product's value. After that, any price you offer seems more reasonable by comparison. For example, imagine you're selling a luxury watch. Instead of starting by talking about the selling price, you begin by highlighting a similar model that costs 3 times as much. In the customer's mind, this creates an anchor. When you finally reveal the price of your product, it seems like a much better deal. And why does this work? Because the human brain is programmed to compare. Without an anchor, the customer might find any price high. But when you establish a reference point, the actual price appears more accessible. Harvard teaches that this technique not only increases the chances of closing the sale, but also justifies a higher value. Strategy 4. The power of scarcity. Have you ever heard of the scarcity effect? Harvard negotiators use this technique to create a sense of urgency in the buyer. The basic principle is simple. People attribute more value to something that is rare or limited. When you tell a client that there are only a few units left, or that the offer is for a limited time, you trigger a psychological switch that drives the purchase decision. But it's not enough to just talk about scarcity. The customer needs to feel the urgency. One effective way to do this is by showing proof of scarcity. It could be through a countdown timer on your website, or a waiting list for the product. The more tangible the scarcity, the more urgent the customer's decision becomes. Harvard teaches that scarcity should not be seen as a manipulative tactic, but as a way to help the customer make a decision. If you truly believe that your product is valuable and that the customer will benefit from acquiring it, then creating this sense of urgency is a way to facilitate that decision. Strategy 5. The progressive yes technique. The progressive yes technique is another powerful strategy used by Harvard negotiators. The idea is simple. Lead the client to say yes to smaller, less committed questions before presenting the main offer. This process creates a positive flow where the client feels increasingly committed to the interaction. For example, if you're selling a consulting service, you might start with questions like, "Would you like to improve your company's results?" Or, "Do you agree that optimizing processes can save time and money?" These questions are easy to answer affirmatively, and each yes builds a positive predisposition in the client. When the time finally comes to make the main offer, the client will already be in a state of agreement, making it much more likely that they will accept your proposal. This technique is based on the psychology of commitment, where small actions lead to greater engagement. Now I ask you, do you think it's hard to make a YouTube video like this one? And what if I told you that in 1 month you could earn between $5,000 and $10,000 per month as extra income by creating simple videos for YouTube like this one? I have a complete and straightforward course that I developed for a single payment of $29.90. $29.90 won't make you richer or poorer, but what if this program works for you? Well, the link is in the first pinned comment of the video and in the About section of the channel, okay? If you're interested, just click the link to learn more. But now, back to the content. Strategy 6. The principle of reciprocity. Reciprocity is one of the oldest and most effective principles in sales, and Harvard negotiators know exactly how to use it to their advantage. The concept is simple. When you offer something of value to the customer, they feel obliged to reciprocate. But the trick lies in how you offer this value. Instead of simply giving discounts or free samples, think of something the customer truly values and that helps them solve an immediate problem. For example, if you sell time management software, you could offer a free consultation to help the client identify the main areas where they are losing time. This not only demonstrates the value of your product, but also creates a sense of indebtedness in the customer. When it comes time to close the sale, the customer will be much more inclined to buy because unconsciously, they will feel that they owe you something. And this feeling of obligation is one of the most powerful motivators when making decisions. Strategy 7. Creating authentic connections. No matter how many techniques and strategies you apply, nothing replaces authenticity. Harvard negotiators are trained to create genuine connections with their clients. This means being honest, transparent, and above all, human. People buy from people they like and trust. But how do you create this connection? Start by being curious about the client's life. Show genuine interest in the challenges they face and the solutions they seek. Share personal stories that resonate with their experiences. Instead of focusing solely on selling, focus on building a relationship. A practical example. Imagine you're selling a house. Instead of just listing the property's features, ask the client about their fondest memories of the place where they currently live. This opens the door to a more emotional and deep conversation, where you can connect the new home with the client's emotional expectations. Strategy 8. Handling objections with elegance. Objections are inevitable in any sale, but Harvard negotiators know that how you handle objections can be the difference between closing or losing the sale. Instead of seeing objections as obstacles, view them as opportunities to deepen the conversation. The first step is to never engage in direct confrontation. If the client says the price is too high, for example, instead of arguing, you can respond with a question. What about the product makes you feel that the price is higher than expected? This allows you to better understand the root of the objection while also showing that you're willing to listen and adapt your proposal. Another example is dealing with the "I need to think about it" objection. Instead of pressuring the client, you can ask, "Can I help clarify any points that you're still unsure about?" This turns the objection into an opportunity to provide more value and eventually close the sale. Strategy 9. Storytelling as a sales tool. If there's one thing Harvard teaches well, it's the power of storytelling. Storytelling is a tool that emotionally connects the customer to the product in a way that few other methods can. And it's not about making up stories, but telling the right story at the right time. Imagine you're selling a health product. Instead of just listing the benefits, you could tell the story of a previous customer whose life was transformed by the product. Detail how they were before, the challenges they faced, and how, after starting to use your product, their life changed drastically. Stories have the power to make the customer see themselves in the place of the protagonist. This creates a strong emotional connection and makes the product seem like a natural solution to the problem they're facing. Strategy 10. The importance of efficient follow-up. The sales process doesn't end when the customer says yes. Harvard negotiators know that follow-up is a crucial part of ensuring customer satisfaction and increasing the likelihood of future sales. After closing a sale, the next step is to keep the relationship alive. An efficient follow-up is not just a courtesy, it's a strategy. Send a thank you email, check if the product or service met expectations, and ask if there's anything else you can do. This not only strengthens the relationship, but also opens doors for upsell and cross-sell in the future. And most importantly, a good follow-up is a demonstration that you care. This creates loyal customers who will not only buy from you again, but also recommend your services to others. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of many sellers out there. What you've learned today are not just tips or tricks, but strategies grounded in the science of human behavior, taught by the best negotiators at Harvard. Now, it's up to you. Put these techniques into practice and watch your sales take off. Did you like the content? What do you think was missing to make this video even better? Leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and if you want more tips on how to succeed with women or be a high-value man, watch the video that's appearing on your screen now. See you next time. He'll see you there.